Yeah, that's amazing for sure. Going on with our discussion today, you've discussed about the influence of the donor class and also drawn a comparison between the unions for the rich and the working class unions. The unions of the rich here, the private equity, the hedge funds. So how do you propose addressing the regulatory and structural challenges that undermine the working class unions?
Well, the first thing that I've observed in relation to the unions is that it's quite common for there to be an alliance between conservatism and the criminal class.
Yeah.
There's a pincher effect because when an organization rises to the level where it threatens that conservatism, the criminal class is very good at destroying its credibility because they're working class, but they'll sell out the working class for $1.
Okay.
And that's why when unions started to become more powerful, you had the organized crime move in to control it, just like they had worked with the government during times of war and various smuggling and other operations.
Yeah.
During war, they're turned on our enemies, and during peace, they undermine things that might threaten the status quo. So the first thing you need to do is have a more transparent system that is mandated transparently. Mandated to be transparent. The other thing you need to do is ranked choice voting. Much like the other manipulations, the creation of the two-party system was not laid out at the birth of our nation. In fact, our founding fathers had a serious problem with political parties. But as the voting system became more liberal, then they started creating political parties. As political parties move through their life cycle, eventually they try to overthrow the system. And if they don't succeed, they get a reset and a rebrand. If they fail so badly that they're now ostracized, they just create a new parties. The Whigs become whoever. Maybe at some point the Republican Party will become the MAGA Party. Or if it was MAGA that ultimately destroyed their credibility, they'll call it some other Orwellian term, the Freedom and Justice Party, the Anti-Fascist Party, or something like that. And when you have that much fundamental corruption in taking away real choice, the only way, in my view at least, that you can address that is by saying ranked choice, because they can create as many parties as they want, but there's no way that you can waste your vote voting for a third party, because you get to vote by rank. And if your first choice doesn't win, your next choice helps the next guy, or the next guy, or the next guy. Guy in the gender neutral sense, of course. But this is why I believe there is so much pushback across the United States against ranked choice voting. Because while it happens in small pockets, the effect on the two-party system, if we implemented a nationwide ranked choice, would be an end to the illusion of choice false dichotomy, where you have two fundamentally conservative neoliberal economic policies where one party just simply decides, well, we'll support more rights as long as you don't, you know, threaten the status quo. And the other side says, why should you have any rights at all? Because we like the status quo. And the people that support me are supporting the status quo because they're already reserving their spot higher up in my hierarchy. And rather than reaching across and saying, we have shared suffering and these people are at fault, not us. I mean, right now we have grandparents turning against their own grandchildren. Yeah. And our media apparatus is encouraging it. The journalism is enshrined in our Constitution as a preserver of democracy. And it's dividing families by feeding people corporate propaganda that turns the old against young and the young against old. Because under that whole do unto others idea, you don't want to cancel student debt, fine. But when you're too sick and you need to retire and your people have gutted Social Security, I won't be in a position to help you either. And then we're both screwed. So how is that the media fulfilling its mandate to defend democracy? I don't think it is.